was just interviewed by Keith Andrew at the Keith Andrew Network.
My name is Keith Andrew, and this is a special episode of the Keith Andrew Network. I'm here with a beautiful friend. She puts up with me, and she's a wonderful supporter and a wonderful person. For people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them still about something. With that being said, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means? If you're a fan of WWE, available on Peacock.com and Netflix. Well, soon to be on Netflix, but available on Peacock and the USA Network. Make sure to like WWE NXT. Available every Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Western. But tonight, it's NXT. With that being said, got to be a special episode. I'm going to start bringing my show over to this platform, so it's really great that you're helping me with this. Now, with that being said, it's PG-13, but I know with the algorithms, we have to watch what we say, but you do have the right to say what you want. The first question I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Lakin, and I'm a peer support specialist in Kentucky. I work with addicts who are trying to recover from addictions, either alcoholism or drugs, and I help them achieve their life goals and navigate sobriety.
No, you are a true inspiration. Now, for people who want to know, why did you become a support person?
I became a support person because I was in addiction for probably like 10 or 11 years. I was an ICE user. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but anyways, I was an ICE user, and I went through jail and treatment, and I found that I really enjoyed helping other people, and I loved like working with addicts and alcoholics and helping them achieve stuff. So I was a peer mentor there. And then I went on and got a job here, and I was working with women for a little while, and then I moved over, and now I've been working with men in a 30-day treatment facility, and I love what I do.
No, you have to have the heart and passion to do what you do, because I can speak from it. I'm a bad influence because I do things half-ass, never do anything half-ass. Because when you first meet someone, you have, and I talk with my hands, I'm not Italian, force of habit. I know, bad joke. But hey, oh, you want to fight about it? Hey! I just want to make you laugh. Anyway, you have the first 10 seconds to make an impression on somebody. So, for an example, if you came across me I used to work at Walmart as a cash register, but you were a producer. And I didn't know you were a producer. And I'm like, oh, this guy's really interesting, but he hates his job. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I hate what I do. I wish I was somewhere else. You're going to meet the same people going up as you are coming back down. So it's always important to make a good impression because you really don't know who you're talking to. So as long as you smile, you're friendly, have a, put a, hey, how you doing? Very nice to meet you. Even if you're just trying to go through emotions, later on you're gonna meet that same person and they're gonna remember how nice you were to them. So it always really matters. It really matters. Put in a good impression. Do you agree or disagree?
I completely agree.
Now you mentioned ice, and I'm really curious about this. The only ice I know, you may know this drink. It's okay. I'm not promoting this drink or anything, but it has nitroglycerin in it, and it's, you know how you say, "Oh, so cool!" You blow that smoke out of your nose, or you can pretend you're smoking. Is that the same ice, or are you talking about a different ice?
No, it's a different ice. It's crystal. um, yeah, I can't really say it on here because we'll get filtered out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely a different kind of ice than that. But yeah.
Well, we can always talk about that afterwards.
Yeah. Well, it's just you really have to watch on here because they will censor out the word that I want to use. But it's an upper. It's a speed.
Oh, don't worry. When we do part two, it will be uncensored.
Okay.
I know we've been going back and forth. It's like, you want to, but it wasn't the right time. I'm like, let's make it easier because I've been thinking about doing something. You've been telling, you haven't been, but other people are like, oh, the battles are important. You have to be on for an hour. What the hell am I going to talk to about it for an hour? I don't want to hear myself speak for an hour. So I'm like, why not do, the interviews for the hour? We're not going to do that unless you don't want to, but half hour should be good.
That's always good for me.
Yeah. I know by then you probably be like, I'm sick of this person.
Oh, Keith, I don't get tired of you.
No, I appreciate that. So the next one I want to ask you is about sports. When you were growing up, did you play any sports? And what were some of the activities that you enjoyed playing?
So, whenever I was in high school, I was a volleyball player. And that's what I played. I did cheerlead for a certain amount of time and did a little bit of gymnastics. I was also in all-state choir. So I just did all kinds of just random amounts of stuff. I was in FFA. I was a reporter for FFA for all of volleyball or all of high school. So I was reading a comment that said volleyball. but yeah, I was a reporter for FFA. I think I was in some other club. I can't remember. Maybe honor roll or something. But either way.
For me, I'm a loser, but I was always a fan of those human pyramids. Did you ever get the chance to do one of those?
I never did. No, I didn't. Mm-mm.
Usually I don't tell people that, but I've been thinking, how to make my talk show more personal, more authentic, because people ask the same questions over and over. And I'm like, well, I like Dumbo, I like Jungle Book, and I like pyramids. Why not turn that into a subject? And I'm like, then I was like, that's stupid. But at the same time, I was like, I want to see people's reactions. I want to see, oh, I never heard that before. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the coronavirus when we come back. Now we're back from the quick commercial break. Our next subject we're going to talk about is the coronavirus. How has it impacted your life? And do you see life in a different point of view?
So, whenever the coronavirus happened, a lot of addicts lost contact to their regular meetings. A lot of people relapsed during that time, and it had a really profound impact on the court system and the way that cases were being handled. So people didn't have that level of accountability that they used to have before the coronavirus. Also, it's really important to be able to connect with people, to be able to recover from addiction. And so the fact that people became really disconnected was a huge problem for the recovery community. They did start having a lot of meetings online, and a lot of people did join in those, but people struggled to stay clean during that time. So during the beginning of the coronavirus, I actually was not clean. And then I went to jail during the coronavirus. I ended up catching coronavirus while I was in jail. And then once I got to a treatment center, I actually got coronavirus twice while I was in there. They had to pause our program and quarantine us to our rooms. And so it was really hard. We lost a lot of people during that time because nobody wanted to stay in treatment while they were being on lockdown for 90% of their program. But I stayed and I fought, and now there's a lot of avenues to recovery and connection to doctors now that we have had the coronavirus, because if you can't leave your house or if you can't get to a meeting, you can go to one online. And so that's been extremely helpful.
No, absolutely. Now, the next one you are a true inspiration. I'm really happy you're here, because it's not easy being addicted to things, because sometimes a tiny bit of addiction, it's a good thing, but it has to be healthy. People are addicted to competition. People always try to bring the best out of everyone. So it's always good for that. But when it comes to drugs, you should take it responsibly. It's same thing like drinking. You want to have one or two drinks, that's fine. But don't go overboard. And that's the biggest thing is, it's kind of like people just don't have that mentality of, hey, I'm fine, I can beat it. But then the door gets slammed in your face. So it's kind of like, just take things responsibly.
Absolutely, yeah. So here's the thing with people who are in addiction. Most of them cannot use responsibly. Most of them cannot moderate their use, and so that's how they become addicted. So if you can moderate, then you're probably not an addict. You're like you can, if you want to use, you can do it every once in a while, not a big deal. But me, I do it until I go to jail. I do it until I'm in the hospital. I do it any means necessary. And so that is why I've had to come over to sobriety and make sure that I don't use any substance, because whenever you use a substance, I can't control it. I take it too far. So that's most addicts as well.
No, absolutely. You did a better job explaining it than I did. I think I butchered it.
No, you did good. I understand. Listen, unless you are an addict, it's hard to understand the concept of addiction. So, but I think you have a good hold on it. For someone who can use socially, that's a blessing. But for people like me who cannot use socially, I used to access, then you have to abstain completely from your from any mind altering substance. Congratulations, John.
No, absolutely. You could give a shout out to Sean and John. Sorry. Yeah, but for me, I suffer from depression, social anxiety, anxiety, and mostly depression. I'm socially awkward, so using this is great. But if you met me in public and I never met you before, I would be kind of like the cat, a little skittish. But once you get to know me, I have diarrhea of the mouth. It's kind of like, I kind of like the other way when he didn't speak so much.
Oh, no, that's not how we feel, though.
So the next question I want to talk to you about was, after all the years that not to sound religious about it, you kind of saw the other side of things, because you were in a dark time and now you're on the opposite. What was that beacon of light that helped you change things in your life? Was there like a song? Was it a person that helped you change things?
So I think of more along the lines, it was a group of people, a bunch of women that showed me the way in treatment. There was a multitude of people who were kind of that light in the darkness. So obviously, I didn't know how to be sober. And so a bunch of people that were sober told me how they got sober and that it was totally doable. And so I just kind of followed in their footsteps and learned as much as I could, and I was not very good at it at first, but I picked up on it after 16 months, you know, and then I came home and decided to continue doing the things that they showed me how to do.
And now you use that for your teachings. So in a way, you're kind of like a coach and a mentor.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think my position at work is called a recovery coach. Although I'm a peer support specialist, I do I do the best that I can do, you know, to help people. But your recovery, your own recovery is your responsibility. So I can lead, like you can lead the horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. So whenever you're ready and you're truly done, then you will follow the directions of other people who have been there. If you're not, then I can't force you to be that, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. And also having a routine, it's real. I don't know if you talk about this, but having a routine can really help you and motivate you to do things day in and day out. Like, give me an example what I'm talking about. You know, there's this wrestler named Dime Dallas Page, and he helped a lot of wrestlers like Scott Hall, who was one of the greatest professional wrestlers, but he was an addict. Jake the Snake Roberts, anyone who watches the movie WWF Beyond the Mat, you know, he was abused by his father and he was a heavy alcoholic. But Dime Dallas Page, also known as DDP, sorry, I'm a wrestling fan, but the reason I bring it up, he created DDP Yoga. And this saved people's lives. It saved Scott Hall's wife from being always arrested, always being, you never know when you're going to get that phone call of bad news. But it saved his life. It helped Jake Roberts. Jeff Hardy, another fantastic wrestler, but, you know, he has his moments, but I mean, for me, I don't. I struggle from addiction, from anxiety and depression, but I can't stretch the imagination of anything you had to go through. You're a stronger person than I am. But the point is, if you have a routine and you have a strong support system, you can accomplish anything.
I agree. I think that most addicts come into contact with the gift of desperacy. When you are desperate enough for change, you will do whatever it takes to get to where you need to be to get to achieve what you want. So when you're tired of the lifestyle that it has to offer, and you're tired of losing everything and going to jail and going to court, and your family disliking you and living in shambles, whatever that looks like for you, then you have the desperacy enough to change. You know, so that is a gift where I'm from.
Oh, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about social media when we come back. When we're back from the quick commercial break, make sure to check out WWE NXT. But what I want to ask you before we get to our subject on social media is, do you feel that you are your own worst enemy sometimes?
I feel like that if I allow myself to get in my head, if you allow yourself to listen to negative talk, I think that a really important thing is to separate yourself from your thoughts. So you cannot control your thoughts, and therefore they are not yours to take into like as proof. You know what I mean? Like as fact. You know, your thoughts aren't facts and your feelings aren't facts, you know? So those two things, like remembering that and allowing my thoughts and my feelings to flow through me, but not identifying with them, has been a pivotal part of my recovery. So I try not to dwell on the past, because that is a thing that a lot of addicts do, and it keeps them perpetuating in a negative lifestyle. So I do not do that. I only focus on the next right thing in front of me and what I can do to better my future. I make short-term goals that are achievable, and I make long-term goals that are achievable, but I don't look at mistakes as failures. I look at them as learning experiences. That way I can move forward in a positive manner.
No, you're right. When you go forward, you always take 2 steps back. And the reason it is you are your own worst enemy. And I'm speaking from experience because you can have this big bubble around you. You say, I'm so great, I'm so wonderful. But it takes one comment, it takes one remark to knock you right on your ass. I don't know if you can say ass, but whatever. But it can knock you on your ass, and you know that the expression, he's on a high pedestal. We should knock him off his pedestal. So you can think so much of yourself, but as soon as someone makes a comment, it just shatters your expectation of everything you just set up for yourself. And as an addict, you can say, I'm in a better place, but would you relate to when someone starts making comments, it kind of gives you self doubts?
So, personally, for me, whenever other people treat me badly, I don't see it as a reflection of me. I see it as a reflection of them. So, 90% of the things that we encounter with other people in our interactions with them have to do with things that they are either projecting onto us or something that's going on with them internally. So, I just make sure that I do not have a reaction to that. I do not identify with what they are saying. And if we have a saying in recovery, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't fit. And if it does hit, then it does fit. So whenever people say like, you're a failure or you're a loser or it just kind of rolls off of me because it's not true. God's not done with them yet, and he's not done with me yet, so that's more of a thing. Obviously, I'm still human. Things do hurt my feelings, but at the end of the day, I just talk to someone who can support me, and they will tell me if it's something I need to look at. I do take a look at all things people say to me because I like to be reflective, but I don't like to dwell in that.
No, you're right. And not to vent to you, I apologize. But people say to me, Keith, you've been doing this for 11 and a half years. You had over 1,155 episodes. You should be on TV. You should be doing this. Why aren't you famous? Unfortunately, some people, not saying this is directed at you, some people who I interview don't take me seriously. They just like to think I'm a charity case, and if they help me, and that's not okay. We see 1,000 show, if you cut it in half, 500 of those people were good, hardworking people, and they do support me. But on the other half, the other 500 would think, well, how is this going to benefit me? And you can't really have that attitude because we're in the entertainment world. So by me helping you, you're helping me, and I'm going to open doors for you, and vice versa. So it's kind of like you can't have that mentality of me. It's more of it's what's the expression? There's no I in team.
That's it.
But the next one I really want to ask you real fast, then I'm going to pass the show over to you, is social media. How has that impacted your life? And what are some of your favorite social medias?
So I have my personal Facebook account. I use that for to keep in contact with people, and I do spread advocacy on there as well, like I do on this one. This one I use for more for fun, but my lives are for advocacy. I do like to talk about sobriety. I like to celebrate people's wins. I like to meet new people who have common goals with me, and I like to talk about things that are bothering people. Obviously, I'm going to school. I'm getting my bachelor in social work, and I'm currently interning to get my CADC so that I can be a counselor and I can help people. So this live really gives me a way to connect with a larger group of people and advocate for things that I believe in on here, which is recovery, connection, talk to people about their triggers or mental health issues, just stuff like that. It's just, it's important to me to do that. I do have Instagram. I don't use it as much as other things. I do have Snapchat. I use that to connect with people as well. Social media can be a very beautiful place. It can also be a very ugly place. I try to direct my conversations in a positive light and help as many people as I possibly can do. But like I said, you cannot direct the way people receive your message. You can only give it, and then people's perceptions will take over from there.
No, I agree. And most recently on TikTok, I found a lot of rude people who are very obnoxious and like to throw my message back in my face, like, oh, blah, 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 you're not saying who you say you are, or why should I support people with disabilities? But you are an inspiration, and I met a lot of other great people say, you know what, you're doing a great thing, and I like to be part of that. But you're going to find that in reality, and you're going to find that in social media where half of those people are going to be real, and other people would just like to judge you because they're behind a screen and they don't have the guts to say it to your face.
Yes. So I think people get a lot of dopamine from trolling on the internet. I think people get a lot of pleasure in doing things that they could not do in reality behind a screen name. And I think that continues to be an issue with the internet. People are not held accountable for what they say on here in real life. And so I mostly ignore those comments for the most part. If they say stuff that's just like unkind, I'm a pretty good sport. Stuff rolls off me pretty well. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. These people are spewing hate because in my opinion, I feel like it's cowardly. So, and I'm not a coward. I'm a fierce person. I'm a passionate person. I am a caring person, and I'm not going to dull that down because the internet doesn't have enough to stomach it. So.
No, absolutely. I'm going to pass this show over to you, but two quick questions I want to run past you real fast. Besides me, obviously, have you worked with people with disabilities and people who have disabilities who want to work with you? How would they go about that?
Yeah. So, all right. We have people who come in who are dual diagnosis, as well as people who have autism, people who just identify with any number of learning disorders. The disease that I suffer from, which is, addiction, it does not discriminate on what kind of person you are in order to have it. It's everybody. I treat everybody no different than anybody else. If they have something that they need me to cater to, I happily do it. There is only one goal, and that is to help everybody recover. And I do that to the very best of my ability, and there's no judgment on what cross you bear when you come into the treatment facility that I work at. And so whatever it is, I make sure. Also, we have people on our team that have autism and have certain disabilities, maybe even if they're just not good at stuff. Some people are better at talking than they are typing. Some people are better on the computer, and others are better one-on-one with patients. Just do whatever is best for you, whatever you shine at, whatever makes you happy. That's the good thing about recovery is you find your niche and you flourish in that niche. And so that is what's important, but no discrimination in any way, shape, or form. Everybody deserves the right to recover.
Now, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest in my talk show, and you are a wonderful person. I'm not kissing your butt or anything. I want you to be brutally honest. When I approached you to be a guest on my show, what made you say yes, and how do you feel now?
So the reason that I did was because you were extremely genuine. You were open and honest. You were kind. You came in and spoke on my lives, and you told me what your purpose was. You were very clear about that. And you told me that we were going to be talking about, people with disabilities. And I think it's really important that no one feels left out of the circumstance in which I work. And I also loved any avenue to advocate for what I believe in, And if I can not only advocate for what I believe in, but help somebody that has been nothing but kind to me, I would love to do both.
And how do you feel now, and would you recommend it?
I feel wonderful. I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity to work with you, and you're a wonderful person, and I would recommend coming on your show to anyone to spread a message or just to even get to know Keith.
No, absolutely. I do have some great ideas for you off the air, but I'm going to give you an extra 2 minutes. Was there anything you wanted to promote, anything you wanted to talk about? This is your time.
No, the only thing that I would say is if anybody is struggling, please reach out. There's many avenues. My live is always open. I'm on live on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I also just want to share that I've been sober for 3.5 years. My sobriety date is 12/5 of 2020. And I'm really grateful for this platform giving me an opportunity to share and help people as it does. So that's all I got, really.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but our fans, thank you for joining us on our special very first episode on the Keith Andrew Network, available on TikTok. You can watch all 1,155 episodes available on Facebook and YouTube. All you have to do is type in hashtag Keith Andrew Network or just Keith Andrew Network, one word. Well, with that being said, it was a real honor, privilege, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. So until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.
Supporting me, and my message is all that matters.